Everyone, welcome to Gentle Yoga. This is Leo Bray with Yanni, a partner, joining us. I'm here on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs. You can visit us online at urbanyoga.org or at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook. Check out the schedule of classes offered daily. Stop by the tip jar to make contributions to support our online offerings. And for those watching later on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel for us. We're going to start today, if you want to, in the position Yanni's in here, which is called, very common sense name, legs up the wall. So you're welcome to join us in putting your legs up the wall, but you don't have to. You could start in any posture you want. Maybe it's another reclined posture. Maybe it's sitting up. Maybe you don't feel like reclining today. You could rest your hands on the floor or rest your hands on your body. And your legs don't have to be straight up like this. That's one option. Depending on how your legs feel, your hips, your back, other things might feel better. You could plant the soles of your feet on the wall like that. That gives you more support for the lower back if your lower back is acting up. You could also bring the soles of your feet together like this and have your knees splay out, do some hip opening. And it also gives a little pressing on the low back too. If your legs are up on the wall, they could be together or further apart. So figure out what feels good for you. Choose your starting posture. If you want to, close your eyes. Bring your attention to your breathing as it slows down and gets deeper while you're settling into your comfortable relative stillness. Making sure my phone's not going to make any noise during class. Maybe you just remembered to do that too. Taking in the movements of your breath. In any way in which the sensation of your breathing is impacted by the position that you've chosen to begin practicing today. Maybe it's a posture you haven't done in a while. What feels different? Scan your body to take in any sensations that make themselves known as you listen in. What is speaking up, calling for your attention? Especially listen to any unpleasant sensations that are there, so that you can take care of what's going on in your body during practice. Exercising, as always, your freedom to choose to skip or modify any part of what I'll be doing. And if you wish to add personal intention for your own practice, you can do that now as well, before we begin moving around. Let's seal our intentions with 3 cleansing breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth with a sigh. You can start to move around. If you have your legs up the wall, the gentlest way, I think, to come out of this posture is to, yes, bring your knees towards your chest, maybe reach your arms overhead, and tip onto one side. And let's all take our time to make our way up to a seated position, or if you prefer, you could kneel. Now seated, you might just be on the floor, or you might choose to sit on some props. We're going to sit on our blocks. So one option is to put 2 blocks end to end and sit on the forward edge of the blocks. Let your pelvis tilt forward like that to open the front of your hips. This position also helps support your lower back too. Lets the lower part of your spine sort of drop down. Let your arms hang loose at your sides. Lift your left shoulder towards your ear. Slide it back and let it down. And then your right shoulder up, and back, and down. Inhale, reach out toward the walls. As you exhale, reach for your shoulder blades. Hug yourself. Bring your chin towards your shoulder. We'll make semicircles. Let your chin come down past your sternum and up to the other shoulder. And then back again, down past your sternum, up to the other shoulder. Face forward. Inhale, open your arms. As you exhale, cross them the opposite way. Bring your chin to your shoulder and make a couple of those semicircles. Face forward again. Inhale, open up. Exhale, let your arms down. Rest your fingertips on the floor. Long arms, long spine. Inhale, reach your left arm up alongside your ear. And as you exhale, reach over to the right. Feel from length from your hip up through your fingertips. Try to keep both sides of your seat anchored. Keep your left cheek on the floor or on whatever you're sitting on. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, come into a twist. Left hand on the floor behind you. Right hand on your left leg. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist some more. Explore how much feels like enough. Let your twist unwind, come back to your center, arms out to the side. Inhale, raise your right arm up alongside your ear. And as you exhale, reach across to the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come into your other seated twist. Inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, twist some more. Let yourself unwind, come back through center. Rest your hands on your knees or your thighs. Inhale, draw your heart forward and let your head tip back. Exhale, draw your heart back, let your head tip forward. Continue for a few more rounds of breath. And yes, sometimes sitting up on some props doesn't feel so good when you start that movement, so we can come down to the floor. Sometimes, especially if you're sitting on the forward edge of some props, this motion will start to shift your seat around and you might fall off, or you can just feel like you fall off, feel like you're going to fall off, which isn't relaxing. Let's bring in some circles as you inhale and come forward, go to one side, exhale and go back, go to the other side. And here too, you can try to keep your seat anchored on both sides, and this will limit the size of the circle, and that's okay. We want to avoid tipping over. So we're going to focus today a bit more on lower back and some stretches to help out the IT band based on some chatting we had before class. So this is feeling really nice on my lower back right Hope it's helping yours. When you finish the next circle, take a few in the other direction. These unfamiliar surroundings here, we're at a friend's house where we're pet sitting. So part of the duties include walking a pair of 18-month-old dogs. And yes, that has put some strain on my lower back. And when you finish the next circle, go back up to center. Let's take a leg, whatever leg's in front, pick a leg. We'll do both. Support the weight of your leg with your arm with the opposite hand. Interlace your fingers between your toes. And let your arms do the work. Move your foot around in circles to open up the ankle. And tune into your lower back here. How does that feel in your lower back to lift your leg off the floor? Change direction. Maybe you can feel a little stretch of the IT band, a line from the base of your spine to your outer hip. That's a simplification, but that's essentially where the sensation shows up. Use both arms to support the weight of the whole leg and start to move your leg in circles. Rock your femur in your hip sockets. Noticing how that feels across the outer hip and in the lower back. Change direction. Because it's a full body practice and we do so many complex movements, sometimes a focused practice is more about what's going on in your mind. We will incorporate some different postures and movements as well, but sometimes just a different lens on a familiar movement or posture. But switch legs. Hold the other leg up, grab those toes, roll your foot in a few circles. And just because we focus on certain areas doesn't mean we're going to neglect others, right? Because it's all connected. Change direction. Having ankles that are loosened up will help. Loosening up in the hips when we get to some standing things, some bigger movements. Release your toes. Support your leg with both arms. Make those circles for your hip. And change direction. And release your leg, make your way up onto your hands and knees. Reach back with your right foot and press the ball of your foot against the floor. And flex your foot to rock forward and back along the length of the mat. That starts to not only stretch the leg, but get into the hip a bit more in a different way. And then let's pause that rocking, swing that leg out to the side. So bring your foot over here to the right, maybe in line with your hip if that's not a strain to bring it that far forward. Exhale, sit back a little towards your left heel. Inhale, glide forward again. So start small, go slowly, listen especially to how this feels on the inner thigh of your extended leg. That's a good telltale to make sure we don't go too far. Some days, a big movement feels nice, but let your body tell you how big it's going to be, not your mind. It's not a context. And let's pause that, rocking back and forth. Walk your hands further out and let your head come down between your arms. So this is like downward facing dog in the upper body. Walk your hands over to the left, letting your head track with your arms. And press away from the floor with your hands. Send your left hip a couple inches towards your left heel. Walk your hands back to the center. And then back in under your shoulders. Swing your foot back behind and bring your knee down to the floor. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up, let your head and tailbone come down. Take a couple more of those cow and cat breaths. Come back to table, reach back and press into the ball of your left foot. And flex your foot to rock forward and back a few times. And then bring that foot out to the side, maybe in line with your hip if it's not too far. And start to rock back and forth a bit that way. Remember, be mindful of the sensation in your inner left thigh. So don't overdo this. And then stop with your shoulders above your wrists. Scoot your hands forward. Let your head come down between your arms. Walk your hands over to the right. And press away from the floor. Walk your hands back to center line. And back in underneath your shoulders. Swing your left leg behind. Bring it down to the floor. Take a few cow and cat breaths. And we're gonna make our way to a forward fold. I'm gonna use blocks. Using blocks under your hands for these transitions gives us more room between the torso and the floor to move the legs around. Step your right foot forward, and it's okay if it takes more than one step. Step your left foot forward. Now here you might keep the blocks for support or set them aside. Sway back and forth, bend one leg then the other. I'm going to give a side view since we're talking about lower back. From this view, you can see what's going on in my back. I pretty much never lock my knees in practice. The more I'm using my legs, the less I'm using my back. Your legs are stronger than your back. So let your legs help your lower back, support your lower back. And when we start to lift up, let the legs do the work. Inhale, lift halfway, hands to the front of your shins, press against your legs, feel the crown of your head move forward away from your tailbone. My legs are long, my knees still aren't locked. Exhale, fold down. Use the legs, inhale, roll to standing, hands overhead, hands together. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, out and up. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms up and reach your palms up. Look up at your hands, lift up your heart. On an inhale, come upright. Exhale, bend to the right. Feel the length in both arms. Try to keep the left heel grounded. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, arms down. Pardon me, grab another sip of water here. We're going to flow back down to a forward fold and explore a little more in the low back. I'm going to pause for a lighting adjustment. Noticing how dark my video looks. So I'm opening another pair of curtains off camera here. Hopefully that will help. Sorry about the dark beginning of class there. That is so much better. Okay. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold forward, soft knees. So some exploring here. We're going to explore a thing called gorilla pose. Now, let your torso really hang, let your belly press right against your thighs. And yes, this restricts breathing. Just let your breath keep flowing continuously. Don't worry if your breaths aren't as deep because of your belly pressing against your thighs. Lift the front of your foot, slide your hand under your foot, palm up. Now you can go as far as the tips of your toes in your wrist crease, but you don't have to go that far. So maybe it's just toes on top of the fingers. And then do the other hand and the other foot. And then we're just going to play with extending the legs. So just do it to whatever degree is okay for you. Maybe that's only a little bit. Maybe it's like this much. Maybe we didn't even see that position change. And you can shift back and forth here too, like we did in our basic forward fold, and feel into where in the lower back is some more openness needed. Where can you find a little more space? Where can you wring out a particular tension? So this thing is called gorilla pose. And it's one way to explore opening a tight lower back. And you can bend your knees a whole bunch. So don't hurt your lower back. We're exploring easing things out. We're not trying to force anything. Now that's a long time. It's only a half minute, but it feels like a long time. Lift one foot, free your hand up. Lift the other foot, free your hand up.
You try to do both at the same time, you can get pretty destabilized. Inhale, lift halfway up, hands to the front of the shins. Exhale back down again. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. So that half minute in that posture should help our subsequent folds be easier and maybe a little deeper. Easier is the more important piece. Drink whatever you need to. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, pull forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's step back to plank. And if you like a shorter plank, let your knees down and take your shorter plank. In the short plank or the long plank, the hips come down in line with the knees and shoulders. Exhale slowly, lower all the way down to the floor. Press into your hands, inhale, lift your head and chest to whatever height is okay for your lower back. So on a day when your lower back is acting up, maybe you're way down here. They call this low cobra or baby cobra. And if your lower back is more open, maybe it's a taller cobra, maybe it's an upward facing dog. Exhale, rock back. We'll sort of pass through table, hands and knees. Curl your toes under, press into your feet to lift your knees, press into your hands and lift your tail, and then downward facing dog. Pedal your feet up and down. And there's no need to ever lengthen your legs out all the way. Listen to your body, listen to the lower back. Some people get hung up with getting their heels to touch the floor. Think of closer, aiming closer to the floor. I don't care if they touch or not. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, back down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. And we're going to flow into down dog and then do a little IT band exploration. And I'll be conscious of the fatigue we can get in our arms. So we'll do the IT band stretch on one side, then we'll come out of down dog for child's pose, maybe half a minute, back up to child's pose, and the IT band the other side. And I'm going to actually face away from the camera. I'll talk louder, but I want you to see my legs. I'm going to give you a demo right now of what this is going to look like. Just a preview, because once you're in down dog, right, you can't see me very well. So I'm just going fast forward through a sun salutation. I'm not going to ask you to do it that fast. Then from here, we're going to lift the leg up and lower it. I'm going to cross my ankles, put this pinky toe near the other pinky toe, and then bend one leg, bend the inside leg, and send the outside heel towards the floor. So that's the IT band stretch right there. And then we'll switch. We're going to send this heel down, raise this leg back up, put this one down, and then yay, child's pose time. And after a little break in child's pose, we'll do that IT band stretch to the other side. Inhale out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Step back to your plank. When you're ready, on an exhale, lower, halfway or all the way, your choice. Inhale, bring your heart forward between your arms. Exhale, rock, back it up to downward dog. Inhale, raise your right leg up high, and then lower it, crossing your ankles. Send the right pinky toe over by the left pinky toe. Bend the left knee and send the right heel towards the floor. Inhaling, send the left heel towards the floor, raise the right leg up. Exhale, lower the right foot, gently lower the knees. Bring your big toes to touch. If you like, send your knees out towards the edges of the mat. If your knees give you trouble, keep them in closer. Sit back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward, let your head come down. If your head won't touch the floor, you can stack your hands and rest your forehead on the back of your hands. You can put a block or some other prop between your forehead and the floor. And do anything else you need to bury your child's pose. Maybe you want to let your shoulders disengage by reaching your hand back towards your feet. And we're slowly gonna inhale, come forward through table. When you're ready, exhale, push back and up to downward dog, take your time. And when you're ready, we'll do that IT band stretching move again. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale and lower it. Aim the pinky toe at the other pinky toe, cross your ankles. Bend your right knee, drive your left heel down towards the floor. Inhaling, send your right heel down, lift your left leg up. Exhale, lower it. Let your knees down again, another half minute in child pose. Inhale, come forward and up to table. Exhale, back and up to down dog. And this is the last down dog. Yay for that. Make your way from down dog to forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And we're going to play with a little balancing. That's also a hip exploration. It's like a standing variation of pigeon pose. So if you know that to stand on one leg, you like the support of stepping over by the wall or window or a piece of furniture, you can do so. Bring your hands to your heart. Shift your weight from one leg to the other, letting your feet find their way under your hips if they weren't there already. Bring the weight into your right leg. Pick up your left knee. Cross your ankle above your right knee. Turn your left knee towards the floor. Flex your left toes up towards your shin. And imagine there's a bench behind you. You're going to sit down with your legs crossed like this. Keep your spine long, hands pressing into center. Release the front of your right hip and back of your right knee. Think of your elbows approaching your knee and your foot. Maybe there'll be some contact, maybe not. Maybe you start to feel that in that left IT band area there. And you can start over anytime. You might fall. I almost felt that it didn't quite. Sometimes I do. I might any second. Doesn't matter how many times you start over.
Sometimes it's fun to try not falling. Sometimes it's fun to fall. And now straighten that standing leg. Across and release and shake things out. I never know how far down I'm going to go or how steady I may be or whether I'm going to fall. It's always an exploration for all of us. When you're ready to do the other side, hands by your heart shift from one leg to the other. When you're ready, bring the weight to your left leg. Raise your right knee. Take your time, cross your ankle, turn the knee towards the floor, flex the toes towards the shin. And as you're ready, start to release. See what happens on this side. Maybe this side's very different from the other side. That is quite common. You don't need to make it be the same as the other side. For me, this side was easier and steadier. Maybe for you, it was the other side. I didn't know which side was going to be easier until I got here. I hope it feels as good on your outer hip as it does on mine. I'm really enjoying this. And now lengthen up, uncross, and release, and shake things out. Grabbing a drink. And then for maybe you're more familiar, maybe less challenging pose that also explores a bit of the hips, tree pose, one of our favorite balances. Starts the same way, hands by the heart. We shift side to side. And yes, if you have a lot of padding underfoot, stepping to where you have less padding can be a good help. The more padding you have underfoot, the more challenging it is. Bring the weight to your right leg. Lift your left knee. Open it out to the side. Bring your foot to your leg. Could be toes on the ground, heel on the ankle, sole of the foot on the calf or on the thigh. And your arms can do anything. They can keep just like this. This can be very steadying, but you can explore other shapes, explore movement. And just as with our standing pigeon variation, you can start over anytime. You can fall. If you fall, you're human. If you get up, you're human. That's what Becky Thompson taught me. If your hands are elsewhere, bring them back to your heart. Pivot your knee forward and let your foot down and shake things out. Do tree on the other side and then we'll sit down. One last time, hands by the heart. One last time, shift side to side. When you're ready, bring the weight to your left leg. Raise your right knee. Open the gate of your hip. Bring your foot to your leg. Whatever placement works for you. One thing we want to avoid doing is pressing sideways right on the knee. There's no wrong arm expression. Do what works for you. I'm partial to this spine because it feels good in my back. Tree breathing, all the trees need air. If your hands are elsewhere, you can bring them to your heart. Bring your knee forward and let your foot down and shake things out. If you want to retreat as you make your way down to a seat. Extend your legs forward, flex your feet back towards you. I'm just pausing to note this is essentially the same shape as a forward fold, but it feels very different because, same shape as a standing forward fold. It is a forward fold, but it feels very different on this axis. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhaling, fold down over your legs. Let your knees bend as much as they want to. And as Yanni's doing here, you can also use a strap to help you down into a forward fold. This can be a big help if your lower back is acting up, feeling tight, feeling tender. You can use your arms in the strap to gently guide you maybe a little more deeply into the fold. Just explore, easing out some tension. Never forcing, just seeing where we can find a little more room. Keep extending your breath into the tight spots. When you inhale, you can think of reaching forward, and when you exhale, think of lowering that. Maybe there's a perceptible change, maybe not. Maybe there's a change in sensation without a change in position. Inhaling, slowly sit up. You can use your hands to walk up the front of your legs and help you sit up, letting your arms help your back, just as we let our legs help our back when we did standing forward fold. Let's bring soles of the feet together with a big space between the heels and the pelvis. Reach over your ankles and grab the floor, or under your ankles and grab the floor. Walk your hands forward on the mat. Let your neck release, let your head hang down. Breathe into your back. Walk your hands back, sit yourself up. Bring your heels in close, keeping your feet together. Interlace your fingers, hold your toes in your hands. Wriggle on your seat, bring the bones in your seat closer to the floor to tilt the pelvis forward, help your hips open up a little more. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Forward with a long spine. Wherever the long spine stops lowering, let your head lower. Breathe into your hips. Inhale, slowly sit up. Use your arms to lift your knees towards each other. Rest your feet on the floor. Rest your hands on the floor back here. Wider than the hips, maybe wider than the mat. Wiggle your feet out to the edges of the mat.
Let your knees go back and forth. As they go to the left, you can turn your head to the right, and vice versa. They don't have to touch the floor, just let your knees go where they will go, where they want to go. Make your way down onto your back. We're going to explore variation on bridge pose. One-legged bridge. If you don't feel up for it, you can keep both feet planted and do traditional bridge, maybe with block between your knees. Cross your left ankle above your right knee. Hands resting on the floor near your hips, palms down. So you can use your hands and your forearms, maybe your elbows for support. You're going to press into the sole of your foot and inhale, lift your hips up. Think of both knees reaching forward in line with the direction of your right toes, in line with the direction of your mat, the length of the mat. Exhale, slowly let your hips down and explore on your own, inhaling to go up and exhaling to go down. If you want, you can pause for additional breaths at the top or at the bottom of the movement. If you want to make it more challenging, maybe move more slowly or lift higher. Don't pause your breath when you pause the movement. That's the wrong kind of challenge. Don't want to challenge the breathing, just let the breath flow. Let the next time you lower down be the last one for this side. We'll switch, plant your left foot, cross your right ankle over your left knee. And when you're ready, press into that left foot, inhale, slowly lift your hips up. I like to pause at least on the first one for an extra breath or two, or more if you like. Exhaling, lower down, and explore floating up and down at your own pace. One side might feel way different from the other side. Take care of whatever you're feeling. Let the next time you lower down be the last one of those. You can uncross your legs, plant your right foot. And I'm going to drag a block towards me with my foot because I forgot to move my block. Let's do a supported bridge. Both feet planted, inhale, lift your hips up. Bring the block under your sacrum and come down to rest on your block. If you don't have a block, you can use a bolster, pillows, folded towels or blankets, maybe a rolled up yoga mat. I've seen folks use a foam roller. If you've got a foam roller in your house, it's a nice height and it's very firm support. And actually the rounded shape feels quite nice. Press into the soles of your feet. Inhale, lift your hips up off your block. Take it out of there. Exhaling slowly. Come on down. Draw your knees toward your chest, hug your knees, rock and roll, massaging your back against the floor, whatever movements feel nice in your back. Now let's say twist with crossed knees. So plant your right foot, cross your left knee over your right knee. Reach your arms to the sides, palms up, feel your shoulder blades, press against the floor. You want to keep the shoulder blades on the floor. Now, the closer your knees are to your torso, the deeper the twist will feel. So you might take it easy, keep the right foot planted and let the legs fall to the right as you turn your head to the left. Or if you want a deeper twist, you can draw your knees in and then let the legs fall over. And you can always adjust that relationship. Control how much sensation you feel. What feels good. I had a couple of cracks in the lower back just as I came into this. Felt quite nice. So moving my knees closer to my chest allowed me to release something there. Cracking your back is not required. Some of us just do that. Some people's joints are louder. Come slowly up to center, cross your legs the other way. Draw your knees in closer if you like. Let the legs go left and the head go right, the shoulders stay grounded. Come on back to center. Uncross your legs. Draw your knees in, reach your feet up. Grab your feet and play with, bending and straightening your arms and legs. You could also grab your legs if grabbing your feet seems too far away. You could take legs up the wall, posture where some of us started today. Instead of happy baby pose, you could do that. Invert however you like. Invert as long as you like. And when you feel complete, make your way to your final resting pose. For a couple minutes of simply being on the mat, focusing maybe on your breath, maybe on some intention you had set for yourself, maybe not really focusing at all. Let yourself unfocus. Start taking some deeper breaths. And moving around bit by bit. Letting your movements gradually grow bigger. Take your time to gently sit up when you're ready. One of our friends left. I didn't even hear that little sound effect. We usually hear it when somebody moves. If you like, bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for sharing practice today. The light within me sees and bows to that same light within you. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.